Hello, everyone. Good morning to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whichever part of the world you're tuning in from. I'm so excited, grateful to be here with you this morning as we kickstart the new week on a fresh new perspective. Well, I do hope you've watched my videos on the assets on our watch list for this week. I shared them during the course of the weekend. I hope you've watched them, as this will help you in preparation for this follow-up detail we are going to be talking on during the Forex Morning Mastery this morning. So welcome everyone, and I'm so glad to have you guys around. I do hope you had a wonderful weekend out there. Well, as usual, I have conducted a comprehensive price action based technical analysis on three financial assets for this week actually, and these are the GBPUSD, the USDJPY, and of course the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And so we are going to be using, of course, simple parameters such as trend lines, key levels, and chart patterns to uncover valuable insight into the historical price movement of all of the assets on our watch list. Now, for those who are joining us for the first time, you might be asking, what are we doing here? What is really going on here? Well, it's quite simple. We come here on a daily basis. We come here together as a community in anticipation of both the London and of course the New York session, where we always use that privilege to see how well our assets are doing, and at the same time strategically position ourselves ahead of both the London and the New York trading session. So this happens on a daily basis. Normally we should kickstart 8:05 a.m. UTC for the session. So once again, you are welcome on board. And if you had not watched my video, basically we review the 1 hour time frame, which of course is our execution time frame here. So it's very important that you watch my videos on these assets we are going to be talking about today. You can watch them after the end of the session so that you can have a background knowledge of how we got to the point we are right now, how we were able to identify the key levels you will be seeing on the chart, and of course you can use it as an educational guide to increase your proficiency in price action based technical analysis. So I already have the link in the description box of this current video, so you can check them out after the live session, and of course they are duly time stamped so you can easily navigate to whichever aspect or chapter that is of your interest. So once again, you are welcome on board. And I would also like to get some feedbacks in the comment section as regards to the audio and the visual of this video you are watching right now. If they are good, please let me know. And if they are not, please let me know so that I can do the appropriate adjustment so that we can have a better experience out here. So with that being said, here we shall be diving straight into the business. And as usual, you know how we do it. The first thing we want to be doing right now is to check on the economic calendar. And for those who have been with me for a while now, you'll know how important this activity is, as these fundamental factors often manifest on the chart in technical patterns and price movement. And of course, by monitoring the economic calendar, we can easily identify potential correlations between key economic releases and of course specific technical patterns, hereby giving us adequate information so that we can position ourselves in such a way that we can capitalize on any potential trading opportunity prior, during, and even after the event. So on the economic calendar, we normally focus on high impact events, which will be affecting from economies that will be affecting the assets we are looking at. And for today, we are looking at the US economy, we are looking at the UK economy, and of course the Japanese economy. Now for today, Monday, August 14th, we only have one high impact event, which is coming in from the Japanese economy, and that is the gross domestic product annualized for quarter 2. And in fact, the gross domestic product is a very, very important indicator as it measures the total value of all goods and services produced within any economy over a specified period of time. And the importance of the GDP is that it serves as a key indicator of economic health and growth. So a positive GDP growth is generally associated with higher consumer spending and business investment, hereby impacting our trading decisions across various markets. Now, for the GDP, remember we have been monitoring the USDJPY for quite a while now, and in the last couple of months, we have seen how the yen had dropped significantly, and in fact, it's at a crucial point in this market where it's oscillating around the 145.00 area. And one peculiar thing about that zone is the fact that during the previous year, this was when the Bank of Japan intervened, pumping some funds into the FX markets to save the yen from crashing further to the downside. And we're at that point in time right now where the potential of a bank of intervention could happen at that point. Now, if we look at that coupled with what happened two months ago on the yen too as well, we saw how it dropped from that level. We are going to be looking at that in detail. I just wanted us to know how the economic event coming from the yen today may likely affect how price action behaves on the USDJPY. So the previous data for the GDP is 0.7%, and we have economists projecting a 0.8% for the quarter 2, which is a little bit on the high side, and there must be a reason for economists projecting that. So there must be some positivity in the air in that regard. So we are going to be looking forward to what the actual data is going to be like. Will it be as expected, below expectation, or even beyond expectation? But as technical traders, what we are going to be doing here is to sniff through the current market structure to identify patterns and structures that would help us to position ourselves in such a way that we can catch any of these potential moves. So with that being said here, let's dive right into the business. And so the first instrument we are going to be taking on today, I purposely did not include the US oil, so we are not going to be treating the US oil for this week. On the Forex Morning Mastery, my time has been tied up so pretty much that I really do not have that time to analyze the US oil market for this Forex Morning Mastery. But if you do want to follow my ideas on the US oil, I will be dropping some videos for the exclusive live session later today. That's around let me see, that will be around 12 p.m. UTC. So you can check my channel if you are not subscribed yet. You want to, so that whenever I update that, you will get a notification in that regard. So the first financial asset we are going to be looking at today is going to be the, which one should we start with? Okay, I think we should start with the GBPUSD. And for those who are with me on the Telegram and TradingView platform, you definitely would have gotten an update in that regard. So one of the things we acknowledged during the video I shared in the weekend was the key level, which is situated at the 1.26700 area. And of course, this level had been a major determinant of price action for quite some time now. And you know how we use our key level in this community. As long as price action remains above the key level, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of buying that asset. And we are not considering selling unless price action breaks down the key level and continue to find selling pressure below that area. Now, if we look at the GBPUSD right here, you will see that price action still remains above that key level. And despite the fact that the week started on a very strong bearish note, you will see this was where the week started around the 1.20750 level. We saw our price dropped significantly to the downside. I think it dropped with about, let's see, how many pips was that? About 40 pips to the downside. But one interesting thing about this drop is that as soon as it got into the 1.26700 area, we begin to see buy pressure resume again, just like it has always been doing in the last couple of weeks, giving us signs that that area is still a very strong memory for buying power. And as long as price remains above that structure, of course, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of buying this asset at this point in time. Now, we can see at the moment that price action appeared to be in a range, as you will see, between the 1.20750 level and, of course, that key level to give us a flat channel to work with for this week. And as long as price action remains between the range, giving us a flat channel, you know how we do it in this community. We want to remain patient, waiting for signals to happen, which, of course, will come either in the form of the breakdown, retest of the support line for us to join a bearish momentum, or the breakout retest of the resistance line to give us an opportunity to buy. Now, with the situation here, I already have a buy stop order above the 1.20750 to capitalize on an uptrend scenario here. And of course, we want our stop losses to be anywhere below this area around the 1.26760 area, which will dovetail to about 25 to 30 pips stop loss on this one. And let's see how far this price will go if price eventually breaks out of the 1.20750 level. And if price continues to climb new highs, then we look at this area here. We have another structure around the, let me see here. We have another structure around this level, around the 1.27340 area, which of course we can also use to capitalize on this potential move. So that is the 1.27340. So you want to be marking this one out too on your chart. So we have the 1.27340 level. So I would like to give this a different color. So let's have it wine and beautiful. So we'll look out for more opportunities at the breakout of that structure. And one interesting thing about the 1.27340 level is the fact that it also shares a confluence with that descending trend line we identified on the 4 hours time frame. So for those who have not watched the video on the GBPUSD, it's very, very important you watch that video so you can have a better understanding of what that trend line really means and how it's going to be serving as a key determinant of price action for this week. Then if price action goes on to break out of that key level at the 1.278, we would be looking out for more opportunities to maximize the potential of this bullish move. So this is how we are going to be managing buy positions on the GBPUSD, at least for the first half of this week. Now, in as much as we look out for buying opportunities, you know how we do it in this community. We also want to keep tabs with the opposite direction too as well, so that even if price does not go the way we expected, we also want to be on standby to capitalize on the opposite direction. Now, with this current situation we have on this chart, if we do want to be selling the GBPUSD, what is it that we want to see on this chart that will make us feel comfortable and confident in negating the bullish idea and settling for selling opportunities? Now, like I said earlier, we already have our key level, which was situated at the 1.267, and of course that level has been characterized with a lot of buy pressure, giving us clues that we have a strong buy memory around this area. And if indeed we need to sell the GBPUSD, we will need price action to break through that support line at the 1.267, taking out all the sell position, all the buy position around that area to give us a signal of where price will be going. So what I'm simply saying here to give a visual representation of what I'm talking about is that we would need price to break down the support line for us to start considering selling. And in fact, in this case scenario, I would need some confirmations before I join. So as soon as price breaks down the 1.26680 level, we scale down to our lower time frame. It could be the 5 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes time frame to look out for signs that truly buyers are finding it difficult to climb back above that ascending trend line, above the key level. And this of course would reflect on the chart as price doing a retest of the structure, followed by a couple of selling pressure around that area to give us that opportunity to sell. So that is the only condition that will make us want to consider selling on the GBPUSD for today. So you do want to be marking out those levels on your chart, as you will need them as a reference point to guide your trading activities for today. So if you have any questions as regards to this current setup, or probably you need me to do some clarification on whatever I have discussed earlier, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and trust me, I am here and willing to be of help in that regard. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions before we move on to the next financial asset. And you can as well use that time to mark out those levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your trading activities for today. All right, I see your comments, Richard Blackett. Good morning to you, and thank you very, very much for your feedback. I really appreciate that, and trust you had a wonderful weekend out there. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here. So I will be moving on to the next financial asset on our watch list for today. So the next instrument on our watch list for today is the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And in fact, we have an interesting situation going on here. I always implore that we watch my videos prior to the session, as this will give you a background knowledge of what we are talking about here and how we got to identify the levels you will be seeing on your chart. However, I will try as much as possible to make things much more easy for you on the 1 hour time frame. So here on the 1 hour time frame, we've identified a range which further emphasizes the level of indecision going on in the market right now. Let's run through my commentary. For those who are with me on the TradingView and Telegram platform, you will definitely have gotten an update in that regard. But for the sake of those who are not, let's run through this quickly and see how we intend to manage our positions on the XAUUSD for today. Now, looking at my commentary here this morning, I said here that sellers are finding the 1,910 zone challenging to breach, given the emergence of buying pressure above this threshold. A distinct range pattern is evident on the chart, necessitating a patient approach as we await a clear signal before considering any trading positions. Now let's go back into the live chart. Now if you look at the structure closely, it has been quite clear that price action has been on a very strong bearish to be dictating the pace for the upcoming weeks. Now, if you look at the structure closely, we can see how the 1,910 level had been a buy niche for some time now. I think in the last trading day of last week, we saw how buyers came in, negating all attempt by the sellers to break through that structure. And in that video on the XAUUSD, I went further to show you what price action is looking like on the weekly time frame, and we saw how important the 1900 and the 1910 level had been a very strong selling niche for the last 2 to 3 years in this particular market. It just shows us how important and how crucial this zone we are in right now is. And for the fact that we've been noticing buy pressure above this area signals a potential reversal pattern around this area. And you know how we use our key level. As long as price remains above our key level, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of buying, and not unless a breakdown of the key level happens can we start considering selling. Now, looking at how participants in this market has been reacting to the structure since the beginning of the week, it's quite clear that there has been an indecision going on right now, a level of uncertainty as participants are yet to make a decision of where price is likely going to be going for this week. And you all know how we do it whenever we identify a flat channel such as what we have here. We want to remain patient for price action to give us a signal, which of course will come either in the form of a breakdown of the support line to give us an opportunity to sell, or the breakout retest of the resistance line to give us an opportunity to buy. Now, one interesting thing about the resistance line of this range is the fact that it also shares a beautiful confluence with that descending trend line. And you all know that when price breaks out of a descending trend line, it is a sign that the trend line may no longer have the capacity to continue to negate that bullish attempt. So with a beautiful confluence with the 1915, which happens to be the highest zone where price action has been for this week, I want to see price take out that trend line. Then at this point in time, I want to feel comfortable at a retest of structure on the lower time frame to join a bullish momentum. And if you can afford to risk and just take advantage of the breakout of that structure, that is, if you have been profitable, if your portfolio on the XAUUSD is on the positive side, well, you can have your buy stop above that area to capitalize on that move. But remember and ensure that you have a stop loss in place, which is very important. So a stop loss of about 35-40 pips seems reasonable around this area, and I think it should be able to capture all the oscillation that might happen before that bullish momentum begins around this area. So we are looking out for buying opportunities above the 1915, and if price action continues to climb and find new highs, then the breakout of the $1,922.50 level should be welcoming more opportunities for this week. I talked about that in the video on the XAUUSD, so if you had not watched it, you might want to check it out. The links are in the description box of this current video. So those are my views here as regards buying the XAUUSD. And the only condition or criteria that will make me want to sell the XAUUSD is for price action to take out the buy positions around the 1900 and the 1910 area. So let's look at the breakdown of the 1910 for this case scenario. Retest of structure on our lower time frame should confirm an opportunity to sell the XAUUSD today. But if there is anything significant that happens that wants us to sell outrightly, of course I will be letting you know in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform. So these are my views here on the XAUUSD for today. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move on to the next financial asset. And you can of course use that time to mark out those levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your trading activities for today. I see your comments, Adeniyi Babalola. Good morning to you. Glad to have you around. and trust you had a wonderful weekend out there. Thanks for checking in. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page. So we shall be moving right into the last financial asset on our watch list for today. So the next asset on our watch list for today is the USDJPY. What a phenomenal asset this is for us in the last couple of weeks, as we have been buying this asset against the Japanese yen. And from a fundamental perspective, we know why the dollar has been rising against the yen for over since the beginning of this year, actually, as we've seen price continue to find higher highs and higher lows if you look at the higher time frame. And like I was saying, from the fundamental aspect, we know that there is a high yielding return from the US dollar compared to the yen. The US dollar currently has an interest rate of about 5.0%. I think 5.0, 5.25 thereabout. I'm not sure at this point in time. And the yen has an interest rate of minus 0.1%. So it's not that viable to invest in the yen at this point in time. And because of that margin in interest rate between the two assets, it's quite clear why majority in the market have been betting on the Japanese yen. Though a couple of weeks ago, the Minister of Finance for Japan's economy made it clear that if the yen continues to drop, that the Bank of Japan will have no other choice than to intervene, pumping funds into the FX markets to save the yen. But we've yet to see any significant action coming in from the Japanese economy. But with the GDP data coming up much more later today, we are going to be looking forward to see what the actual data is, as this will give us a clue into how the economy is doing. And in that regard, if we look at things from a technical standpoint, you would agree with me that we are at a very crucial moment, and that is the 145.00 level, which I explained in my video on the USDJPY on how important that level is. Now, remember last year, September or August last year, we noticed that when price got into this area, the Bank of Japan came in, intervened, bought a lot of yen using the US dollar from their reserve, hereby increasing the value of the yen. And the price is back into that area. If we look at the structure, I think if we go to as far back as 2 months ago, I think we also saw price come into that 145 area. Okay, that was in the month of June. As you will see, price came into the 145 point area, and the fear that the Bank of Japan will likely intervene caused the price to crash from that area. And right now we are back again into that zone, showing us signs that if we do have a significant breakout of this level, the chances that price will continue to the high side becomes very prominent. So personally, if price breaks out of the 145.00 level, we might likely going to see a very strong and massive move to the upside. So we also want to be on standby to capitalize on that one. Now, in as much as we look out for buying opportunities at the breakout of the new resistance level, here we saw a sharp breakout of the 145.00 area during the early hours of today, which of course is a sign that buyers have a potential of pushing price higher. But we saw the sharp rejection, giving us something like a shooting star candle, which reveals that sellers are also present around this area. And I'm of the opinion that the emotion of fear could be dominant around this area, and any slight selling pressure could incite fear in those who hold a buy position here, hereby neglecting that position and selling the USDJPY to cause a massive drop in price today. So in as much as we have all these ideas behind our mind, we are going to consider two positions as well. And now looking at the structure, we already have a flat channel where price action has been confined within the 145.200 level and the 144.680 area to give us a clue and insight into the level of indecision at this point in time. And as usual, whenever we have this kind of flat channel, you know how we do it. We want to remain patient, waiting for either a breakout of the resistance line to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the support line to give us an opportunity to sell. So with this situation here, at this point in time, price remains below our key level, and you know how we do it. When price remains below the key level, it gives us the confidence that if price remains below that structure, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of selling. So at this point in time, I will be looking out for selling opportunities at the breakdown of the 144.680. So if price breaks down that structure, we look out for selling opportunities. And if it goes on to further break down the ascending trend line we identified on the higher time frame, then we will see this as a very good signal that sellers might be dictating the pace, at least for the first half of this week. So we are looking out for selling opportunities below the 144.680. Now, to buy the USDJPY, price needs to break out of this barrier between the 145.00 and the 145.200. And in fact, a breakout retest, a retest could come into either the 145.200 or the 145.00 area, where some choppy situations could happen before the uptrend continuation begins. So we're still at a very crucial moment, so we'll still remain very patient, waiting for a signal to happen. And of course, if there is any new development on this current market structure, I will definitely give you an update on both my TradingView and Telegram platform in that regard. So it's a simple setup we have here on the USDJPY. So let's mark these levels out on our chart and wait and see how the market will react to this range, and that will give us a breakout or breakdown will give us an idea of where price action intends to go, at least for the first half of this week. So these are my views here on the USDJPY for today. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know in the comments section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds as usual to see if there are any questions, after which we shall be calling it a day here. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are on the same page here. And in fact, we were able to attend to 3 financial assets for today, which is going to be what we are going to be monitoring for this week. And they are the USDJPY, XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And of course, we treated the GBPUSD, the cable market, which of course we also had a very simple setup there that we are going to be using to guide our trading activities for today. So I implore us to remain very patient. Today is the first trading day of the week, and there's going to be tendencies of testing of waters around key zones that we have been noticing here. So let's remain patient for our structures to mature. And of course, if there is any new development contrary to what we discussed here during the Forex Morning Mastery, I will definitely be giving you an update on both my TradingView and Telegram platform. And for the XAUUSD live monitoring window, I'm yet to have the link at this point in time, but trust me, I will be dropping the link on my Telegram platform. And if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please do, so that whenever we come online, you will get a notification that we are right on live. So the XAUUSD live monitoring window is a platform which we created, I think, about a month ago, where it's based on popular demand that we want to be monitoring the XAUUSD together and see how we take positions and manage our trades while the New York session begins. So the link will be shared. It's going to start 5-10 minutes before the New York session begins. So I implore you to stay tuned in. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get a notification whenever the link is ready. I think it's on this note. Okay, I saw your comment, Fred. Good morning, Fred. How are you doing today? And trust you had a wonderful weekend. You said you came in very late. No problem. You're going to have access to the replay of the session after the end of the session, so you can check it out to see what we talked about today. All right. So with that being said here, I want to wish us all the best of luck today. And trust me, I will still be with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform as we continue to monitor price action. Do have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.